welcome back to a brand new episode of Project Analysis Series. I have Alex here together with me today again. Today we will be touching on this project that has just been launched. It's called Langtor Mansions. Okay, today's episode is a bit more unique in a way. We will not be diving into a lot of project info. We also will not be diving into a lot of specific layout as to what to choose. But basically, we'll be diving into more about how harmonization, the new harmonization ruling, has an impact on Langtor Mansion and the projects moving forward. Alright?
Okay, so I think by now all of you who have been looking for Langtor Mansion, you all should have seen the prices. The starting from price, like a 2-bedroom, 1.1 plus million, which is wow. Comparing to the rest of the project is so low. But you can also see that the size is extremely small. So the smallest starting from 5 to 7. So it's because it's affected by the harmonization. So today we are going to go very, very in depth in terms of not explaining the harmonization, because I think these are the things that you can read online, but more of like going through the floor plans between all the different projects that is in the surrounding to show you how does harmonization affect your built-in area. So in fact, some of the places are not really affected. So later we are going to show you all the bedroom size, the living room size, all these things. So today's episode is really going to be very, very important, because this is going to affect you moving forward. Why do I say that? Because there's two types of projects that is coming in the market next time. One is the harmonization one. The other type is the standard one, which is, you know, all those en bloc one. So en bloc one will still be following the old rulings, which means next time you need to decide between these two, and there will be chances that you'll appear side by side. Then you need to decide what are the pros and cons between all these, right? So today's episode will cover all these things to help you decide all this decision, make a better decision future on all other developments that's coming up. Okay.
So Alex, what you're saying is that only the government land sale lands will be affected by this harmonization ruling.
Yes, correct. So in fact, if you look at during the last few years launch, we have a lot of en bloc, correct? Give you one example, like Affinity Serangoon. It's an en bloc. Okay. Garden Residence is GLS.
Okay.
So what's the difference between GLS and en bloc? The main difference is en bloc, they use the very old way of building, which means that the wall can be hacked. Later we are going to show you the wall is thinner. The GLS are using the PVC, which sometimes we can see at night. If you drive on the road, sometimes you can see lorry driving like a toilet or a room.
I think we have actually covered this in our previous review for the Langtoria, right? So if you guys want to actually refer back to that, I will put the link on the top right hand corner of this video where you can have a clearer look. So I think later Alex will also be going through, you know, exactly what we mean by, you know, given the same size, why some rooms will look bigger due to the non-PPVC kind of layout. Alright?
Correct. Coming back to the differences, right? There will be a difference between, because there's new rulings that's adding on to the harmonization. But all the old en bloc land, which is bought way before they just en bloc the land, they are not affected by this change of ruling. So they can still build condos as per maybe 10, 20, 30 years ago.
The olden ways.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. So it's going to be very different. So you need to understand.
So right now what you're seeing is, of course, you know, the Langtor area, but of course we're not going to dive in that because we did it very detailed in the previous Langtoria. I'm going to just deep dive into this Langtor Mansions, this particular area over here, because on this project. So a few things to take note about this project is that in terms of the density, okay, in terms of the land space, you can see that the land is actually the biggest amongst all the other projects in the Langtor Hill Estate right now. And in terms of density, Langtor Mansion actually have the same kind of density as Langtoria. The other projects like Langtor Modern, Langtor Hill Residences, and also Hewlock Green, most of it are, or rather I would say, more crowds over there. Okay, and one thing about this Langtor Mansion is that they do have 5 bedroom. So currently, Alex, this is the only project, right, in the market that have got 5 bedroom in the Langtor area. Yes, I noticed that the price of this 5 bedder might be very close to the landed nearby. Do you have any take on that? Like, I mean, as an individual, would you actually prefer to buy landed over this 5 bedroom?
Okay, given to me, I will definitely buy a landed. But I have met families who prefer a bigger condo than landed. Why? Because maybe got parents grandparents staying with them, cannot climb the stairs. If you need lift, you need all the new renovation, it will not cost this amount of money. It will be close to
That's
$5
true.
million already. So it really depends on individual needs. Recently, I met one client who is looking for 5-bedroom in Lentor Mansion. Why? Because this is the only place in this region that the parents, the kids, and the grandparents stay together. So
So like a multi-generation kind of
yes.
family.
So this is the
okay.
only chance they can get something here brand new at this range lah. If you want landed this range, I can tell you 3 million, you need a lot of renovation. So some people don't want, but this one you get all nicely done lah. I mean, some people will prefer this lah.
And I think maintenance-wise, because for me, right, I also prefer condo over landed. Mainly because in terms of maintenance, I don't have to spend a lot. I don't have to own self go and maintain, you know, the facade and everything. I have got a proper management office to help me do that.
So coming back to our question, I think there is still a group of people that will want this. But I would say, put it simple, maybe a higher percentage will want landed if they got this budget. A higher percentage. But key thing when we buy property is two things: demand and supply. So
Yep.
the demand might not be the highest, but the supply is very low
Super limited.
in this area
Yeah.
for 5-bedroom. Yeah, so that's the thing that we can rely on lah.
So let's take a look at the supply, or rather the project info first. For the project info, I think we have pretty much covered everything. We'll go to the site plan and also distribution. I knew that you just came from the show flat, right? What was the first feeling that you had
When I first walk in, it's like, I think this project win already lah. So Guaco always have a very, very good way of building nice show flat and nice development.
Okay, question I have. Because, you know, there are some projects that Guaco have, right? They will usually name it as like something mansions. Like for example,
Something modern lah. So like
modern or mansions?
Midtown modern, Lentor modern,
Or those are the more premium
Martin
lah.
modern.
Like a high-end one, right?
So you are saying the mansion not high end?
No, mansion is still high-end, but is there a different category of how the naming is like? No.
The Lentor modern is also in Lentor.
Okay.
So there's no differentiation. It's just that when you see modern, it's most likely something by Guaco lah. But you can see Guaco have a very unique style of building. Usually more towards the darker tone. Lentor Mansion, Lentor Modern, Midtown Modern are all on the darker tone. So it's more towards the new gen of building, you know?
Modern,
building,
yeah.
something like that.
And for the in terms of the unit mix, right? Okay, as you can see just now over what you see in the site plan, even though everything is pretty flat, but when you look at the actual distribution chart, right, there are also tall and short blocks, which is actually pretty common, right? I mean, even in Lentoria or the other projects in the area is all like that.
Lentoria and Lentor Mansion is like that, tall and short, because I think it's 2.1 their plot ratio. The rest is all higher blocks, like example, Lentor Hill and Hewlock Green is on the higher basis. But Lentoria and Lentor Mansion is very similar in terms of the height of the building itself. But I mean, to be very honest, when I walk into Lentor Mansion, I'm impressed. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, it's really very different. But in terms of the unit mix here, over here, the 2-bedroom itself, right, is actually 214 units. So the previous time we reviewed Lentoria, right, do you recall that 2-bedroom actually makes up most of the unit types in other projects as well? Right? Do you see any issue again, you know, when it comes to disposal of the units?
Definitely think that if you got too much supply, it's going to be an issue. But bear in mind, in Lentor Mansion, we are unique. Why we are unique? Because we are smaller in terms of size, and later we will explain now, you may not be smaller in the built-in area. So we are unique because our purchase price in terms of quantum is much lower comparing to all the surroundings. So you have this advantage over them, but it can come as a disadvantage also. Later we are going to run through all these things and how are we going to overcome all these issues, because this is something that is so important. Because when you buy a harmonization project, these are problems and the solutions that you encounter. And why we want to do this so much? Because all the other projects that's coming up, there's a lot that is also harmonization. Lentor Central also, beside Temple
Pine Tree
Grand,
also.
Pine Tree also, Clementi also, Toa Payoh also. So there's so many new land. Even Champion Road also, Woodlands. So all this will be harmonization. But those like Chuang Park, like Sora, all these are en
are
bloc,
en bloc.
so that they are all the old rulings. But
Wow.
the harmonization will have a lot. So you need to really understand this when if you are looking to buy a property this year.
I
Okay?
think the key issue is that when the moment, like what you mentioned earlier, the moment you saw Langtor Mansion size, right? When it's a two-bedder starts from 527 square feet, I think. Yeah. The moment you saw the size, like, huh? This is like a 1+ study or 1 bedroom size equivalent in the area. So instantly people will think that this one is very small. So this is some potential problems if you are a buyer today and in future you want to try to dispose it, right? This is the potential problem that you will face. So this is what Alex meant that we'll be addressing it later. But I think first thing first, right? We need to understand what is harmonization first, because I do realize that a lot of people are still a bit confused by what this thing is about. So in order to understand what is harmonization, okay, Alex, let me ask you, do you know what GFA means?
Yeah. Gross floor area.
Okay,
Yeah.
gross floor area. Do you know exactly how to, calculate this gross floor area?
Not very sure. You want to show?
Basically, for the land size, right, times the plot ratio. So if you notice some in certain area, right, even in Langtor itself, right, some building will be a bit higher, some building a bit lower because of the certain plot ratio. So when you get the land size and the plot ratio, this will give you your total GFA. For example, let's take 100,000 square meter. Okay, so back then, okay, last time or rather in the past few years, when developer built aircon latch, for example, they built 20,000 square meter worth of aircon latch. Do you know this aircon latch, this 20,000 is not part of the GFA?
Oh. Yeah, I think I heard something around along this line. Means
Yeah.
that this 20,000 they can exclude from this GFA.
Correct. And but the thing is that even though it's not part of the GFA, but developer can sell it to you. And
Okay.
so that I found this very interesting part, which is that in the past, this is a 2017 article because it has been quite some time since there's a data like that surfaced. But in all, right, on average every year people pay 780 million for aircon latches.
Okay.
So it's a huge amount, right? Yeah. So right now, what the new ruling is going to do, basically, this aircon latch area is going to be part of this 100,000 square meter GFA.
Yes.
This means, right, only 80,000 square meter developer will be left, to build units.
In a way, yes, but not 100% true. Because why I say that? So it's including the 100,000. This is the correct thing. But because of this, now the developer is definitely going to reduce this to 10,000. So you will come to see now much smaller aircon latch.
Okay, understandable because I think there was a time where people were actually chilling out in the
Yes.
aircon latch area, right? People were like sitting there because the aircon latch space is so big. Yeah, so moving forward, this will be the case, and this aircon latch area, right, will also not be part of the area that you'll be paying for.
Yes, correct. So I mean, if developer can't sell it, they will definitely make it smaller, which means now we are going to see what is going to change, because these are all explanation on the new harmonization. But how is it really going to affect you in terms of the project itself? This is the most important, because this is something that you can relate to. Because I mean, all these things are very big
layman lah,
numbers,
right?
layman,
Yeah.
so,
This is also why we are going to go through the different unit type. We actually break it down to 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom to 5 bedroom onwards to show you, right, with a smaller square feet per unit that Langtor Mansions have, is it really that we are being shortchanged the space? So I think Alex is going to go through the first part, which is the layout comparison between Langtor Mansion and also the other project in the surrounding.
Okay, so I think we are blocking some of the things, but no issues. I will do my best. Okay, so we can see from here, I'm going to compare all the Langtor projects around. Okay, now I'm going to take Langtor Mansion to compare Langtoria and Langtor Modern first. Later we are going to move to the other two projects. So in this scenario, I'm taking a 657 square feet for Langtor Mansion, which is the 2+2 toilets. Okay, comparing to the Langtoria is a 700 square feet unit here, 700 square feet, and Langtor Modern is a 678 square feet, which is a 2+1 toilet. Okay, so what is the key differences? In terms of the layout, I would say there's some differences, but they are still quite similar in terms of the things that can be utilized. But what is the main thing that I want to go through here? So you can see what we did is we actually add in all the size, but I just go through with you some of the unique point. You can see from here, the bedroom for Lentor Mansion is 8.7 square meter. Okay, here 8.7. If you can't see, I write it bigger. Second, for the bedroom of Lentoria, we take the second bedroom, 8.5 square meter.
Yep.
So very clearly, it's already one thing. Lentoria bedroom is smaller than Lentor Mansion, even though Lentor Mansion might be a smaller unit.
Correct.
Okay.
But you did mention that something that's got to do with the wall, right?
And
Because you look at the thickness of the wall.
Yeah, correct. So this one we will explain a bit later. Then next one is Lentor Modern is 8.8 square meter. So which means that Lentor Modern and Lentor Mansion, even though Lentor Modern is 678 square feet and 678 they only have one toilet. So which means that put it simple is that they should have more space in other area. But not really in a way that they are way bigger than Lentor Mansion. Okay. Second area I want to compare is the living room area. Lentor Mansion 29 square meter. Okay. Lentoria 26.7. Okay.
Wow.
But you
And
see, Lentor Modern is 22.7. So where is the space? You get what I'm trying to say? So you are not shortchanged at all in terms of the space that you are living in for Lentor Mansion. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You have a bigger living than the other two, which is in the floor plan itself, in the size itself, it look bigger than you.
So where exactly did the space go?
So where exactly did the space go? Let me show you from here. You can see this is 657 square feet. We can see 657. 657, but you can see this is the aircon latch. It's non-strata, which means that it's not included inside. Okay, so aircon latch, nothing. All the rest of the space are not there. But you can see from here for Lentoria 2.9 square meter. This is what?
Aircon latch.
Aircon latch. So I have to take out 65 square meter minus 2.9. Why is it 61.9? Because actually 65 is not 100% accurate. It's 64.8 square meter in terms of the space itself. So to really see without aircon latch, the built-up space is 666 square feet, which is the same as Lentor Mansion.
Yeah, very similar.
Okay, then if we take the Lentor Modern 2 Flexi, which is a 2-1 toilet, the actual size is 645
Actually, it's smaller than Lentor
It's
Mansion.
smaller than Lentor Mansion.
And only one toilet.
So these are the things that we want to go through. But if you really want to understand more, looking at all this data, all these things, it's still good for you to go down to the show flat to feel. When you feel the space is bigger, the space is bigger. I mean, we cannot avoid this fact that when we see that, it's definitely going to be that is the size that we are getting. I mean, the feeling is the most important.
I think what you're right about, going down to show flat, because previously, we can only speculate that Lentor Mansions will be launched cheaper or more expensive based on the land price, right? But right now, it's good that all the show flats are up, and subsequently there'll be even more show flats. So buyers currently can actually go to every single show flat to actually compare the size to have a feel of the actual unit. Yeah, I think that's a plus point.
But I mean, some of the show flat, they will have like very good ID to make the unit look bigger, things like that. These are the things. That's why we want to do all the numbers first at
Before
home
going down.
before we go down.
go down.
Okay. So next, we are going to see Lentor Mansion versus Hillock Green and Lentor Hill. So we are just going to go through the size itself. This is 657 square feet, like what we mentioned. This one after minus is 616 only. This one toilet but the one toilet now I think is starting from about 1.4 million. Okay, the one toilet in Mansion starting from 1.15 million. So you see the difference. But of course, maybe slightly smaller there about. So you need to calculate your space that is usable. Okay. So I think the smallest for Lentor Mansion is 527, which is about 80 square feet different from this. You cannot take this as a calculation because the usable space like that. Okay. Next, for 2 bed 2 bath in Lentor Hill is 646, which is smaller than Lentor Mansion. And what price are they transacting? Okay, so now next. Now look at the prices. This is 657 square feet. Dumbbell layout, I think very, very spacious living room. You can see the kitchen is also quite wide. We are not going in depth, but for Lentoria, the asking price. Why we put asking price? Because it's
it's just
launched
launched.
last week. The price are not caveat yet, are not in the data yet. We use asking. It's from 1.49 to 1.689 for this particular layout.
1.689 is our starting price for Lentor Mansions 3-bedder.
Oh, really?
I mean around 1.7 ish.
Yeah, about
Yeah,
that.
so you just have to top up a little bit.
So this is a 700 square feet unit. We are taking all the 700 square feet prices. Lentor Modern, done transaction. 2 bed. This is 1 toilet, remember?
Wow.
1.35 to 1.67 million dollars. This is all done already. Hewlett Green, 2 bed, 1 bath. We are all taking, these are 2 1 bath. Remember, must remember these are 1 bath. 1.37 to 1.49 million. Okay.
That is like a 200,000 kind of, safety margin. I mean, based on the starting
If
price.
you based on
Hewlett
1
Green.
bath to 1 bath,
Yeah.
but of course the 1 bath might be a bit smaller, so you need to take all these consideration.
So actually, Lentor Mansions, I mean, after that, you will get Lentor Hill Residences, right? It's also around the range of 1.36 to 1.52. So actually, you can see Lentor Mansions 2-bedroom price is super attractive.
We do not know 100% on the 2 bath yet. That's why we are going to do a price range that you can go for. Okay, so because what we have got now is all the 1 bath price. Which is starting from 1.149 million, so it's all 1 bath prices. But 2 bath is how much we are not confirmed yet. That's why we are doing this video is to also let you understand about what price is definitely a must buy. If what price is can buy, if what price is don't buy, something like that. But overall main thing, PSF for Lentor Mansion will definitely be about 10 to 15% higher.
It's around the range of like 2002, 2003,
Yes.
right? So it'll be slightly higher than the rest of the project nearby.
So PSF wise is higher, but quantum wise it might be more attractive. Okay.
So in a way, we have always been comparing based on PSF, and now the issue is moving forward, right? Even if we were to sell in the future, our future buyer will also look at this unit and say that, oh, this PSF is much higher and it's smaller. So stay tuned to the end of this video, where we're going to also share with you guys the solution to tackling this problem.
Okay. Yeah. The last part we are going to share with you some of the problems and solutions, all these things. But now we are going to dive very in depth into all these things. So, what price do you think we can buy? So looking at all the prices, we got a lot of buffer area because 2 bed 1 bath, 2 bed 1 bath is all already done at 1.3 plus million because of the minimum size they have to commit, blah blah blah, all these things. And Lentoria 2 bed 2 bath is starting from almost 1.5 million. Lentor Hill, which is quite a good buy, the 2 bath is from 1.36 to 1.52. I think the bigger 2 bath have done 1.7 over million. Okay.
Bigger 2 bath.
Which is the 700 plus square feet. 700 plus square feet worked out, it will be about 690. So it's almost the same as Lentor mentioned what we are getting. But now the thing is, I personally think if we can see something within 1.3 range, this is what I call a must buy. Because you are very safe, you are at the safest zone. You are even at 1 bath prices. Okay? You buy a 2 bath, but you are at 2 bed 2 bath, but you are at 2 bed 1 bath prices.
So 1.5 will be mid-range.
1.4 to 1.5 is a can buy.
Okay lah, I mean it's just can buy, right?
Not bad. 1.4 plus, but it's lower range of 1.4 plus. I think you can also seriously consider. If your unit reach more than 1.5, it's not a very attractive buy anymore. Put it this way, unless you really like the development, then you can choose it for yourself. So this is the range that we can go for, price point that we can go for. 2 bed 1 bath will be a different range that we are going to talk about. But I think you can also do some calculation based on yourself. Okay, now we are going into the 3 bedroom. So maybe here we'll go a bit faster because we run through. So 3 bedroom, you can see Lentor Mansion 1023 square feet. Lentoria, after cut everything is 1068. Okay, and Lentor Modern is 1049. So actually after the calculation of cutting all this, all look quite same.
Yeah, actually, I think one thing here, even despite the odd placement of the toilet over here, you can see the toilet over here for the Langtor Mansion. Frankly, right, the good thing about this Langtor Mansion layout, the moment you enter over here, right, you have a very wide length of the entire living and dining here, as opposed to when we shared about Langtoria and also Langtor Modern, whereby the walkway is actually very narrow, right? So immediately, I think that will be actually a huge difference in terms of the way you were to view the unit itself.
The key difference is what? The key difference between Langtor Mansion and Langtor Modern is there's a wall here. This one is a dry kitchen. So the setback about Langtor Mansion, the kitchen, the wet kitchen very small, but it enhanced because there is a big dry kitchen area. So when you walk in, the whole space is like Joy mentioned, is empty one. But of course, Langtoria, this one got a long walkway, but they got a wide frontage living so I mean they got their own advantage also But we are here not to discuss a lot about floor plans. We are here to discuss about the size that you are getting, the place that you are getting. So now we look at this Langtor Mansion 1023, Hugh Lok Green 1023 minus everything is only 965. You're only getting 965. And if you can go and see Hugh Lok Green 965 is really quite decent. Then Lentor Hill, even the big one, you're getting 1033 square feet. And this one is starting all the way from the launch day is about 2.2, 2.3 million. So now we can see the prices. Langtor Mansion is here. Langtoria is 2.28 to 2.52 million for the 1119 square feet. Okay. Langtor Modern all the way go up to about 2.6, starting from about 2 million.
Again, 2.6 Langtor Modern is close to my 4-bedroom price.
Yeah.
For Langtor Mansions.
Correct. So it's very close to a 4-bedroom price. So Hugh Lok Green is 2 to 2.226 and Langtor Hill is 2.23 to 2.44 million. So what price do you think we can go for?
So let me guess. If we were to enter Langtor Mansion below 2.2, it's considered a very decent buy, or even the 2 mil range. Right? Anything beyond the 2.3 or 2.4 may not be very safe.
Yes, but 2.3 to 2.4 would be most likely
also acceptable range, but I would say it's
put it simple. Anything that is 2 to 2.1
can buy.
just buy. Not can buy. Why? Because it's 2,000 per square foot and to 2,050, which is, I don't know whether they will have this price, to be very frank. If you see this price, just buy. Why? Because with the harmonization, they should be going at about 2.1 something, 2.2 something. Okay? And if it's in the range of 2.1 to 2.2, this range can consider. I think it's not a bad buy. Anything that is here, this one is try not to touch already. I think this is a bit too high range already. So keep it below 2.3. Okay, that's one of the main thing that we want to go for. So this is for the 3-bedroom. Now we go into the 4-bedroom.
So right now we are going on to the 4-bedroom comparison, and for this 4-bedroom comparison, right, we are not going to take into account the Langtor Modern, because Langtor Modern's 4-bedroom is actually the equivalent size of Langtor Mansions. So this is why, in terms of comparison,
size of a Langtor Mansion 5-bedroom.
So this is why we will be taking that out. So Alex, do you want to share a bit here for Langtor Mansions versus the other 4-bedroom types?
So the main reason why we are taking out Langtor Modern 4-bedroom is because all the other projects 4-bedroom are all at 1,002 square feet range, but Langtor Mansion one is at 1.5 something range. So the size is so much more bigger. So we do not want to take that into consideration. That's why we took it out. It's actually here. Okay, so Langtor Mansion 1,227 square feet. Look at the size of the whole area. Now we go into area to area. You look at Langtoria. The actual size they show you is 1,206, but really built-in size is 1,146 square feet. So where is the difference? You look at the living room, this is 31.8 square meter. Okay? Langtor Modern is 38.8. So Langtor Mansion, 38.8. So you can see there's an equivalent of a 7 square meter difference. Okay, if you are going to purchase these two at a similar price, I think is definitely going to be like Tom mentioned. Okay, then the bedroom size is 8.5, 8.5. This 8.8, 8.8. So you can see very clearly that where the space it goes into all these space that we are talking about.
Actual living area is actually smaller than Langtor Mansions lah.
Yes, correct. But this one come with junior master lah, which this one not really a junior master. They open an opening here, but it's still a common toilet that everybody can use.
Langtor Mansions, I realized the 4-bedroom it's a shared balcony between the living and also the first bedroom.
So which there's plus and minus. What is the plus and minus? The plus is when you have a balcony in your bedroom, which means your bedroom window can be fully open. Balcony means that I can push all the panel to one side. So it will be super windy. Problem with condo today is the window cannot open much. It's always maybe 1/3 only, so the wind cannot
Maybe
come
aircon
in.
latch is outside.
Maybe aircon latch is outside, but sometimes no, sometimes full glass window, full height window. But the setback will be the bed. You cannot push it to the side
The corner
So you
lah.
need to have bigger bedroom lah. If that's why they do it 8.8 lah. And one plus point I forget to mention about Langtor Mansion is that a Langtor Mansion do not have full height window. The highest, the biggest is about 3/4. I just saw. So which means that your below your bed can still be on the wall side.
Okay.
That is not the main thing. The main thing is that if you look at all the project recent years all the full height window, they have a very big metal piece below on the floor. You go and see all the project. Apparently they say that is to hold the thing
I get you.
So that panel that protrude out actually in into your
Living area. So
Your
your bed
bed
cannot be
area,
pushed to the corner of the unit lah.
I can push, but there will still be
There will still be a
there.
gap lah.
So if let's say I don't want to push, I want to put a side table, cannot fit in because that thing is coming out. You go and see the show flat, you will see. So let's say they do 9 square meter room, but you might not be getting 9 square meter because of the side. They never measure that. I couldn't measure that, so I don't know. What I'm trying to tell you here is that with Langtor Mansion, with all the new rulings, is fully utilized all the space in a way, even the bedroom, everything. Even though you got 3/4 window, I think it's fine. I think you got all this extra space for you. Okay.
No, I went to the show flat, right? This one that we are showing right here is the show flat unit type, if I'm not wrong. The seating arrangement that they accommodate, right, is really very long. So I think one thing about Langtor Mansions, I realized that the living area, right, is more like a rectangular, kind of concept as opposed to the other units out there, or rather the other units in the near area.
The main key difference now we can see the main difference that why I would say Langtor Mansion, although the layout is not the most fantastic, there's some setback, like the kitchen is smaller, all these things. But let me show you one thing that actually only Langtor Mansion have compared to all other projects. Most of the unit, I would say 99%. You see this one, Lentor Hill. That's why I always say this glass panel important. Important because it make you see through, make you feel the space. Why do I need glass panel? Because my kitchen is protruding out. It eats into my living area. So when I first walk in, I will be blocked. I will feel blocked. But you look at Langtor Mansion, the kitchen start from here. The rest is what.
So for Langtor Mansion, the kitchen area is nicely tucked in one corner.
Yes.
It doesn't eat into your actual living space lah.
Yes. So when you walk in, you will feel, even though it's just like that one, long one, you will feel very big because there is no things that is obstructing, obstruct your view when you walk in. So it's a very different feeling. I mean, first time I saw something that is in this way. That's why they can put a long 8-seater dining table here because there's no kitchen. So this whole part very long. You remember? You see?
Yes.
But here cannot. Here I cannot put. Most of the project all cannot put. But here because they push the kitchen in. So they sacrifice the kitchen a bit. They make the living room a bit bigger. It depends on what you want. You see, this third living room 38.8. Even Hewlett Green which is the landscape type, is only 37.3. Why? Because there's all this space that is being eaten up by the kitchen. So there's plus and minus. And this is 34 square meter. So you can see it's actually quite well utilized. And Lentor Hill definitely have a good 4-bedroom. I don't want to deny that because all the bedrooms are coming with 10 square meter. I visited that. I really love Lentor Hill also, okay, in terms of 4-bedroom. But the built-in size, this is bigger, 1270, but the rest is almost similar. So you're buying a 1313 square feet in Hewlett Green, same price as Lentor Mansion. If almost the same price, but same size, the size that you're getting. So now we go into the price point. This 1227. Lentor is starting from 2.55 to 2.93 million. Okay, Hewlett Green is 2.57 to about 2.82, and Lentor Hill is 2.55 to 2.77 million. Okay, so what I heard, Lentor Mansion should be starting from 2.6 plus for 4-bedroom. And I definitely think Guaco got a very good reputation of building big units and making people want to stay there, people want to move into that area. And the last project that we saw, Lentor Modern, is not cheap.
Yes.
The 3-bedroom, it has hit about 2.63 million. So if you can get anything in Lentor Mansion 4-bedroom that is below 2.75, I think is still a good buy in long run. I don't see that you are going to sell your 4-bedroom in a short frame of time, but you are going to hold anything below 2.75 will be a safe choice. Anything above 2.8, I think is a bit stretch already. I think you might have problems selling in
2.8, I think you can easily maybe upgrade a little bit to the 5-bedroom already.
Yeah. So 2.75, this is the golden number. Anything below, I think this is the price that you can go for. Okay. So 5-bedroom comparison. Yep. Now look at this.
5-bedroom, obviously, just now earlier we said already that in the Lentor area as of now, there is no 5-bedroom supply other than Lentor Mansion. So the only nearest comparison we can take is from Lentor Modern's 4-bedroom because the size-wise is very comparable. Yeah.
So Lentor Mansion 5 versus Lentor Modern 4. This is the comparison that we are going to do. So it's 1485 square feet. 1485 for Lentor Mansion 5-bedroom, 1485. For Lentor Modern 4-bed is cut everything is 1444.
It's smaller,
So it's similar. Okay, my take for the 5. Okay, I think the 5 can buy. Okay, why? Now I come into why. Firstly, if you want to buy the 5 and you need a 5, this is the only 5 in this area. Okay. But if it stay as a 5, it's not easy to sell because the living room will become 3 meter apart only. Lentor Hill 4-bedroom is 3.5 meter
for the
living area. So your 5-bedroom 3 meter.
So when you enter the 3-bedroom in Lentor Hill versus the
4-bedroom in Lentor Hill
versus a 5-bedroom in Lentor Mansions, you literally cannot find the difference lah.
I still feel Lentor Hill is bigger. No, I can feel the difference because in the show flat they took this whole thing out.
Right.
So that's why I say if you want to buy 5, you have to sell as a 4 in future.
That's the alternative.
But now you need a 5 for the space. And the key thing is developer quite smart. This whole piece, they leave it for only piece that you can hack on. So literally this one I think is squeeze out a 5 for you but actually this is not a 5 layout. But you really need a 5 now. You need somewhere that have 5-bedroom, but you don't need a big living room. You can use this first. But you want to sell, I think it's good that you hack down the bedroom to make it into a big 4. And it's one of the biggest 4 in this whole region.
Yeah, having said that, actually, if you were to remove the bedroom, right? I mean, if you were to remove the wall between the living and the bedroom, right? You will notice that actually it's just literally a mirror image of Lentor Modern.
Yes.
Very, very, very similar.
Very similar. But one key difference. What is the key difference that I just now shared with you all? You see, this part is the same. Same. But one thing, hands down, win one. This one come in. This got glass panel. I always say glass panel very good. Every video I tell you about glass panel. But now I changed my mind because now got new type of building. They cut the whole kitchen inside. This whole place is yours. This is going to be a huge area. that you are going to win Lentor Modern.
This is why they can put such a long seater table for Lentor Mansion.
I mean, yes, but they are smart. They push in the kitchen. So that's why a lot of people say Lentor Mansion very small kitchen. I think with a very big living room is a plus point.
But frankly, if you are really catering to the more modern family, right, I think kitchen size, so long as like okay size, I don't think that will be a very factor,
I would say lah. So that's why this 5 I think is definitely okay lah. Now the last thing, the effect of harmonization. So what is the effect of harmonization? Effect we are talking about how is it going to affect you when you sell? Because now we can't see it. It's going to be 3 years later when you collect your keys, when you're trying to sell a property. What are the key challenges that you face lah? And what are the solutions to that? So what are the key challenges you think there is in the market when we are selling, Joy?
I think one of the most prominent one will be the size lah, because based on what we are seeing, the smallest 2-bedroom we have here is in Lentor Mansions. So the moment I saw like a 500 square feet kind of 2-bedroom, I don't think I will want to view it because it's the equivalent to the 1-bedroom in the other projects, right? So what you're writing or what Alex is writing down right now is basically all the different sizes of the 2-bedroom that we have shared earlier. Like for example, Lentor Mansion, which is at 527 square feet, then we got Lentoria or Lentor Modern at 678 square feet, followed by Hulock Green.
So Lentor Mansion, Lentor Modern and Hulock Green. I'm only taking these 3 because I'm taking only the 2+1 toilet lah. So the size is all stated here. These are all 2+1 toilet. Okay, so Lentor Modern is 678 square feet. Hulock Green is 657. Lentor Mansion is 527. These are all stated on papers, which means that is with the aircon latch. Okay, these 2 are with aircon latch. So in buyers' eyes, when they go to the internet portals, they only see what? This one.
Size.
So in their mind, Lentor Mansion is very small. Straightforward. They won't go through all the things that we are going through because no one will ever know which project is harmonized, which project is not harmonized.
Yeah.
So in future, let's say all are selling 1.6 million. Which one will you view, Joy? Will you even consider to call this?
Of course I will not, because I think other than the size, right, I will also look at the PSF. For PSF or Lentor Mansions, right, can I say that it will be one of the highest?
You'll be one of the highest, and you will also be thinking, this one, sure the agent bluffing one. This one is not two bedroom. This is a 1+
might be a 1+ study agent who has 2 bedroom.
They just put the 2 bedroom. In our mind, we might be thinking all this because we do not know, ma. So this is what happened in back in 2013-14 that range. There's 2 projects, one called Caspian, one called Lakefront. Okay, these 2 projects, what's the difference? One is with
Bay window,
and
the other one is without. So if we were to take a 3-bedder comparison, right, back then Caspian was the one with bay window. A 3-bedroom there is about 1,200 plus square feet,
yes,
right?
About 1,206 lah.
And then for the lakefront, the 3-bedroom there is about 1,101 if I recall correctly. Yeah. So given the same 3-bedroom, I think it's the same situation that the last time the seller also faced, because one is a bigger 3 and the other one is a smaller 3, but
On
both
the
same price.
on the newspaper, that time is still era of newspaper, so it's like smaller.
Newspaper, okay.
Newspaper. We go newspaper
It's
and
not
find
even-
property.
okay, it's
So
not the platform
so
stage,
1,001 and this one looks lakefront in short look very expensive. But actually, Caspian got a lot of space that is non-usable. It's partial usable because it's bay window. You can sit there, you can put your things there. I mean, all these things still can. But in terms of being able to really utilize it, it's not so usable. But that is even better than now, because that time still can use it.
At least
Now
that time is
is
super big.
totally cannot use it. Now we are taking out the space that you totally cannot use one, which is the aircon latch. But what I'm trying to say here is that there's challenge when we are selling that time to prove that this is a good buy.
It will take some time for people to be used to it lah.
In a way to also understand what is the harmonization thing lah. Okay, so what is the solution to this when you buy a harmonization project and you want to sell in future? How do you sell it?
It's not like a very tough thing. Basically, how we have shared, you know, about the 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom analysis earlier, sharing with your self or whatever you have done homework based on that. You need to put the floor plan side by side to see actually where did the additional space go and the actual living space without the aircon ledge. How much is it? You can also digitalize it. Basically, put 2 floor plans just side by side and then overlap each other.
So it's more of doing digital marketing, video marketing, even some EDM to show people that these are the same size because of the built-in area, to send to all the potential buyers, or to market this as a product that is more on the social media rather than on all the internet portals. One of the main key thing is what? Is collection of all the data. So like what we have shown you just now, bedroom size, what size, all these things we are already starting to collect if we saw any harmonization project in the surrounding. So when we collect all this, next time if any of our clients want to sell Lentor Mansion, we have Lentor Hill, Lentor Modern, Hillock Green, Lentorial sizes to compare. Let's say got another client who bought maybe Tembusu, the second plot which is harmonized. We will start collecting Tembusu grand room size to show that this one is good. So now what we are doing as agents, I mean I don't know all agents, but for us we are collecting all this data so that in order for us to help our clients to market their property better,
for future use.
Future use, we have all these things to show all the potential buyer that they are not being shortchanged, because all these data are not easy to find. Okay, so these are solutions to be able to help you with what we have done, but we will be doing a more professional type of video in that sense. But most important, I hope today's video have helped all of you to understand what is harmonization in more of a layman term, in more of a very logical way, and it can help you make a better decision buying any property and do more research when you're buying. If you do not know and you have any problem and questions that you want to understand, how do you actually buy a property itself, and due to all these new harmonization ruling, there's so many rulings that's coming. So how do I buy? What do I buy? What are the things that I want to take note? Do reach out to either one of us, either me or Joy. We will be uploading this video in our YouTube individual channel, but you just reach out to us. And if you need help in terms of marketing of your unit in future for all this type of listing, just
you can also reach out to us. Yeah.
If not, then we will end off today's video. We will see you soon for the next analysis video.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.